I wanted to put this video together just to kind of show you my travels and getting to iRacing. I really got interested in early 2020 with all the iRacing NASCAR on TV. My grandkids kind of got tired of the slot car track that I had, and I had a chance to sell that, and gave me a few extra dollars to convince my wife that I needed one more hobby. So let me kind of show you what I did. I didn't go for the inexpensive end, but I didn't go for the expensive end, I felt. I put my system together, and I'll have a few comments at the very end, things I found out as I've gone through, and we'll pick it up from there. So here we go with the build. Let's take a look at the cockpit area. This is the GT Omega Art, and the parts are very well made. I'm impressed with that. But the seat does not come with it, and when I purchased this unit, the seat was not available, so hopefully we're going to be able to come up with something for that. The downside of this is, here are the instructions, and this is going to be a lot of test and fit, and hopefully we can get it. I'm going to go ahead and start assembling, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you maybe some of the more difficult parts that I had with it. Okay, we're back after about, I'd say I spent about 3 hours trying to figure out the parts, and really it goes pretty easy. I started with the back loop here, and then just kind of worked my way forward. These front stands are pretty easy to do. The one that kind of threw me was that there is another, they call them center supports. It's that piece right there in the middle, goes all the way across. They supply two, and the other one goes down underneath the pad that where you mount the pedals. So finally got that one figured out. Looks like it's pretty well made. This is the shifter arm, and I guess I'll kind of goes in here, and the problem is that if you bolt that down, I don't know if you can see the gap, the misalignment there. I am going to probably, they do supply some fender washers, and I may use that, or I may just make another plate to go in there. I have some 1/8 inch aluminum or something that I might make a plate to go inside there to make that a little more aligned. The top for the shifter plate, and you have those are the short pieces there. As you can see, I do not have any seat right now because they are out. Although I did find that a folding chair, if it comes down to it, that may be used. Now to kind of my next, here's some more hardware that they supply. Not sure, the fender washers, that may be to align that shifter metal. You have some lock washers. I think I know where these go. I do believe that your main center cross members there, one of those go on each end. These probably use here. They just don't tell you where any of this goes. This plate here actually fits on the outside of the shifter mount. Gives them some more support for that. Nice part is they do give you some cable management parts here. So anyway, so that's kind of my wrap up. It looks like a great unit, and we'll come back when we've got the pedals and wheel mounted on it and go from there. For the computer, I'd like to thank Dave Sampson. He has a video out there, iRacing computer for under $600. And he uses parts picker, and he gives you all the parameters. You need more than this, you don't need that much, and he kind of goes through and shows you. I wrote down all the specifications because it's been about a year since that video was put out. He did it for a little bit over 600. I could not match that. I was a little bit over 700. Case, large, just pick out a nice one. I was worried about heat and graphics card. CPU, i5, resin. We have storage, 500 gigabyte solid state. RAM, 2 8 gigabyte sticks. Power supply, 550 watt is what I picked out. And the motherboard, seems like the B450, a fairly popular one, but it should do everything I want. Graphics card is on its way. I'll show you that when I get ready to install it. Okay, I've finished the computer up. I've installed a second fan. Kept it simple. Just kind of a medium graphics card in there. All I'm going to do is use this for iRacing, and I'm not a big gamer after that. So the one thing I did find out that the CPU that I use has no graphics. So when I first turned it on, of course I got no video. I had to get the plug the graphics card in and then hook the monitor up into that, and it came right to life. So far it's good. The driver's all loaded in very easily, and we'll button this thing up and get it over to the gaming area. And the control systems arrived. Thrustmaster 300 RS, and I'll just show it to you once I start getting things mounted, what I find. Okay, after a few days we finally have gotten everything assembled. I picked out a seat from Summit Racing. The one thing I saw was that it actually had tracks on it that you could move it in for shorter people and a little back out for longer leg people. About $160, and the rails matched up perfect. It had worked out quite well. Thrustmaster T300. So far I've enjoyed it, but the Omega rig here doesn't have the correct holes to mount it. So what I did, and I'll try to show this to you here if I can get the camera correctly, is under here I actually took a piece of 3/4 inch board, cut it to fit up in there, and then I just used the clamp. I just can't believe that the bolt holes. But if we go down and look at the pedals, pretty much had the same problem here. Well, I shouldn't say that. The metal's quite thin, and when you bolt that down, you'll spring that metal up, and I didn't want to do that. So I tightened them up just enough, and then I cut a piece of wood here, and there's some small wood screws that go up on the bottom side. Now I'm going to take that off and clean it up and paint it black, but that's kind of my fix to keep that from sliding forward. I decided to go with the Viatech, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, screen. I didn't want to go triple screen, trying to save a little space, and that's working out quite well. I am running this with just Wi-Fi, and I'm getting anywhere from 150 frames up to 200 frames per second on it. So that's pretty much it. I'm only in about my second week of the iRacing thing now. Software downloaded pretty easy. Trying to figure out how to get around. Took me a little bit just to figure out how to practice. And now I'm kind of looking at how do I get my first race. Been watching a lot of YouTube videos, so I've been doing that. But kind of that's my experience. If you have any comments or questions, what I did, here's the computer. That's just an UPS power supply that I have it connected to. But impressed with the hardware that I picked out. And by the way, the graphics card is a GeForce a 1660 Ti. So, and it seems to have worked out quite well. Okay, and that's my build so far. I do want to make at least one correction in there about the Thrustmaster mounting on the Omega Art frame up here. At first I didn't think, and I had that clamping device underneath. I removed that, and there are two holes that do line up. You need to pull the Thrustmaster out about 1/4 of an inch away from the plate, and you'll see those holes that line up. Just my last thoughts on it. Everybody will tell you you need crew chief, and follow the instructions for setting it up. I worked for a week trying to get that set up. There is a thread in their forum that tells you exactly what to eliminate from the Windows, what to load on for the Microsoft to get that working, and it will come to life for you. So that one there. The other one, of course, is the VR School. They've got the free, they've got the side you pay for. I find that the free is very helpful to me, and you'll get a lot of use of that. So anyway, hopefully I provided a couple of tips, and let's go racing.
Pit lane speed limit is 35 miles per hour.